for the presentation, we were like, Pokemon is cool, everybody is playing Pokemon Go, we must have Pokemons in our presentation. It will be a huge success. But then we were like, yeah, Pokemons are not cool anymore. But well, we are brave, so let's keep this coming. So first of all, let me just introduce myself. My name is Lara, I work at OutSystems, and more specifically in the SWAT team. And what do we do there? Well, we develop small projects that typically solve critical needs from our clients. And by the way, I graduated in FCT-UNL in 2013.
Hi all, I'm Rita Tomé. I also work at OutSystems in the lifecycle team. Our team is worried about deployment of an application between different environments. We also are worried about the environment configurations and make sure that the user gets all he wants. And I worked there since I graduated in 2015. OutSystems is a product company, but a very Portuguese one. It was created by Portuguese people, has a Portuguese CEO, and all the decisions related with the software are also taken here in Portugal. Although the company is already 15 years old, it is still growing, and it's a great place to work. And it's not only as you say it. Forbes recently made a study about the best cloud computing companies to work for. And guess what? OutSystems is really well placed, just near Google.
So, as Rita said, we are a software house and we develop one product. This product is a platform, like an IDE, that allows to develop web and mobile applications. The advantage is that you can develop really web applications and mobile applications in a really fast way. We do the work for you, like the configurations, that boring stuff. Then when you start developing an application, you always have to write like the scripts for creating the database tables, the scripts for the constraints, the scripts for the triggers. You have to just configure everything. When you put your hands on the code, you are like, yeah, let's do this. We'll start coding, and you have no application at all. So you just spend a lot of time coding, and you have nothing to show to anyone. So the platform allows you to focus on really the application, the functionality, without losing that whole time in configuring everything and doing code that really doesn't give anything to the application.
So, like Lara said, with OutSystems you can develop web apps and mobile apps. In this presentation we are going to focus in mobile apps because, you know, everybody loves mobile apps. We all have dozens of apps in our mobile phones. So, how are OutSystems apps? First of all, they are fast. OutSystems uses top-notch technology to guarantee performance. We reduce the server communications to the minimum and use secure REST endpoints that answer incredibly fast. Also, we use JavaScript technology and HTML rendering for ensure the latest thing.
Well, our applications are also beautiful. You don't have to be a design expert to do applications. We provide some cool style guides, and you can just do beautiful applications with no effort. For example, when I'm trying to develop an application, although I am a girl, I know, it's tough for me to do a beautiful application. I just do the whole functionality, and then I'm like, oh, this is ugly. How do I put this thing beautiful? Start throwing things at the application, and it keeps ugly as hell, so it's really a challenge for me.
And these apps are way more than just a simple web pages because they take advantage of your native capabilities like the camera, the location, and multiple plugins that you can use to develop your awesome apps.
And of course, offline. There's always a case that you are in a place where you have no wireless and you have to use that app, but you have no wireless. So we also think about that, and we allow the developers to do applications that are really offline ready in a real simple and transparent way.
And best of all, you can use the same code base to build builds for Android and iOS. You code once and run it everywhere. And as you know, when you develop for iOS, you usually need the Mac. Well, not with OutSystems, because OutSystems has its own native builder with the Macs on the cloud. You don't need it.
So you are probably thinking that, well, that sounds really easy, but I would like to see it. So let's do an app.
Cool, let's go.
What kind of app do you like to see?
Well, I'd like to see a Pokedex.
Yeah, so we have to do something related to Pokemons, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, Pokedex, so
sure.
Yeah. We spent some time, develop like some PHP codes, a couple of time, yeah. And, well, I don't know if you check this, but Yeah, but anyway, we did an application that's really beautiful. Or maybe not.
It's kind of white. Did you notice the alignment? It's weird. I don't really like it.
If I add some comic sense to the application.
Yeah. Can't we do another thing, like a really cool one?
Yeah, so let's do a really real application right now.
Okay, so now Lara is going to open the development environment.
Well, first I need to switch the screens.
There it is.
There you have.
So this is the development environment. I know it's a lot of stuff to understand now, but I'll try to guide you through the process. So now Lara created a screen that is going to list all the Pokemons we already have in the database. We did that before this demo because, APIs sometimes are really slow. So we fetched some Pokemon and we placed them in the local storage. That Lara is accessing right now. She's doing a query. And is obtaining only the Pokemons that we have already registered. This is very important because it's the first thing you want to see when you open your app, your Pokemons. Lara now is adding an image just to put the really cool title we have prepared, and then she will drag a list. A list, as you know, is a very common mobile pattern used for development. And in OutSystems, as you can see, you just need to drag and drop it. Why? Because OutSystems has been doing some research and decided to provide this out of the box. All these mobile patterns, just like tabs and drop-down menus and lists, are the most important ones. However, they are highly customizable, so you can edit the CSS really quickly. Also, like Lara is doing right now, she's adding some style classes. You can also edit the CSS of your class and add much more classes. You don't need to worry, you can do everything you want. Also, you can add your own JavaScript code and even HTML5. We allow you to do whatever you want. Why? Because it's very important for you to be focused on what's really important, that is creativity. You have to focus on that. You don't want to spend time and time reinventing the wheel, recreating lists or recreating tabs. You don't want to do that. You just want to use them because they are already very studied and you already know how to use them, and they are always the same thing. Lara has finished just the first screen. It was really fast. And now she's going to add the detail screen. So when we are on the list, we select a Pokemon and it will show its details, like its moves, its capabilities, and some other details like its type and its weight. Another cool thing you can do is you can use plugins. So imagine you're on GitHub and then you find, oh, what a really cool plugin I would like to put in my app. Well, you can. You just need to use the URL from the repository and add it here. Then it will appear all the actions or methods you can use. It's as simple as this. Even more, you have Forge, which is an OutSystems store, where you can download several plugins that some of them were made by people at OutSystems and other ones were made by the community, and they are completely free. You just have to go there, download it, and use them in your app. Lara is now just finishing the screen.
Yeah, you should try to do a demo in the table like this.
Sorry?
You should try to do a demo in a table like this. It's awesome.
It's a really small space. But it's going really fine. So, as you may have noticed that there's a button really on the top that sometimes it's green and sometimes it's red. When it's red, like right now, it's because Lara is still typing. So it is detecting if there are errors or not. So if you have, for instance, an action with some parameters that are mandatory and you don't fill them, it will appear red. As you develop, it will progressively turn green, but you can have some warnings, but minor warnings. No critical errors will appear. And when the button is green, you are ready to publish. Once you publish, you will see that it takes almost no time to have your app in the cloud. It will be ready to use. If you decide to make some other changes, you can, and you will see that there's no downtime between publishing the apps, between one time and the other time. So now Lara is obtaining the weight and the other details, like I told you before, the type, the weight, and the height. How's it going, Lara?
All good. Just struggling with the computer and the table and the mouse.
So as you can see,
Everything.
it's really easy to do these things. So can you imagine how much time we would spend to just implement this that Lara is doing with typical technology? We would take like a lot of time. I'm not very good at CSS, so I'll be like, okay, this is not aligned, and this is red, but is orange, I don't know. So I would be dealing a lot with this, and then you have to configure the database, which sometimes can be a really pain. Here you don't have to do it, you just use it. And you would be dealing with some JavaScript to do the animations that OutSystems already offers by default. So you will see just in a few minutes that you can do a swipe, and Lara didn't do anything about it. So it's already implemented for you, and you can obviously customize it. Also, probably you would be dealing with the server, because sometimes you have problems with that. Like when the network's not so good, you can have sometimes you don't even have the validations to tell if your code is correct or not. Also, you have a lot of autocomplete here. If you notice, when Lara uses the drop-downs there, that ones, there are already some suggestions of what to use, and the platform does that based on the names that are on the left side. But however, when Lara doesn't find them, the one she really wants, she just uses the expression editor, that's that screen that appeared a while before, and selects whatever she wants. So it suggests you, but it's not limited. You can do whatever you want. So Lara.
Almost done.
Okay, so now you're missing the moves, right? The abilities.
They are also already done.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, let me just check this. And I think that's good.
So now Lara clicked on the one-click publish button, and this will do the magic. It will generate around 25,000 lines of code, and you don't need to do anything. It will generate the UI, it will create the server and logic, the server and client logic. It will create the scripts to access the database to fetch the Pokemons, and it will also, and it is independently of the stack. So it doesn't matter if you're on .NET or Java, it doesn't matter if you have SQL Server, MySQL, or Oracle. It will simply work. And now, let's see the result.
Well, do you like it?
Okay, let's see the details. Cool. What about the moves?
Well, they seem fine.
Awesome.
Although I can just scroll because my path is just awful.
I like it. It's way better than the one you showed before.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've been thinking,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's the thing that I really want. I mean,
No.
it's almost, but imagine that I'm walking down the street,
Yeah.
and I simply find a guy like this.
Yeah.
How can I know what is this?
Well, that's
What is this?
kind of hard to know it.
Really? But
Yeah.
you know, I noticed something. There's a QR code in this guy.
Oh, that's easy.
It makes it all easier, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so now, Lara, what are you going to do?
Well, I would do some magic here.
Some magic.
Yeah.
Like a magic with a plugin?
We will see it.
And now Lara is just adding a button, a simple button, that will trigger the QR code scanner in your mobile phone. So she will take advantage of a plugin we already included, because, you know, networks, it takes some time. And she will drag just the action available, that is scan barcode. Pretty simple, right? And then she will register the Pokemon. And then I will try it in my own phone. Would you let me?
Just give me a second.
I'll give you.
You can grab your phone.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. I just lost
Lara is
a bar of
key.
my keyboard. Trying to copy pasting without having the key for that.
It's going to work, don't worry.
I hope.
Okay, so now, almost the moment of truth.
Yeah.
Will you kindly
Yeah, I'm sure.
hold the little guy?
Yeah. Let me just... Ta-da-da. Almost there.
No, we highly depend on the network, so...
Yeah. Let me just
Okay.
check.
Okay, the app has
new
been
version.
updated.
Yeah, new
Cool.
version. Well, maybe you should use your phone to test it because you will need the camera.
Sure. So, okay, so with my phone, I would open the QR code scanner and I would simply scan this. And as you can see, we would be able to download the APK. I'm not going to do that because network, you know, sometimes it doesn't work really well. And I have it already installed in my phone. Okay. So, okay, has been updated. Cool. And now I'm going to
Go
use
ahead.
the QR code scanner. Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, look, the little guy's a Charmander.
Really
And
cool.
if you see, it's already in the bottom of our list.
Yeah.
And you can see the details, and it will work just like the other ones.
Yeah. Cool. But you know, I really miss the whole Pokemon things. Like, I miss the old Pokedex.
Like the good old stuff.
Yeah, good old
I have
stuff.
something
well,
for you.
Pokemon Go has ruined it a lot, so
I know.
I'm missing
So,
it.
what about this thing?
Oh, cool!
Really?
I missed it.
OutSystems also allows you to do retro stuff.
Yeah, nice. So let's just go back to our presentation. And let me see. Nope. No screen yet. É isto? Não, é o expandir.
Sei, vou entrar. Cool.
Oh. Technology.
Okay, so the app was pretty cool, but we still can do some improvements. For instance, you only retrieved some Pokemon, those 5 initially, and store them on the database. We want to retrieve them all and put them all in the local storage, because this way we would have a fully offline app. Also, once we have them all in the database, we could show them all in the list, but only highlight the ones we have already registered. The other ones would be just grayed out, as you see in the image. Also, it would be very cool to use geofencing, which is a native capability, to create an area around, for example, that Charmander. So when we would enter that area with your mobile phone, it would show a notification saying, hey, here's a new Pokemon you haven't registered yet. Do it now. You know, just like that nearby feature in Pokemon Go that never really worked.
Yeah. So you are probably wondering why we are just showing all of this if you can't try it. But the good news is that if you go to our OutSystems website, if you just log in, you will be able to have your own space on the cloud, and you can download our IDE and try to do your own apps. You can even share it with your friends because, you know, it is on the cloud, so you can try it.
So you install it for free, you develop your apps, you click on the publish button, and magic happens. You have a build that you can distribute through public stores, or you can send a link to your friends. It's really easy.
So you are still wondering that, well, that seems all too easy. There's probably something that you are not telling us, but well, it's not easy all the time. We have a whole team of engineering that has really worked hard on this, and they have tried really hard to make it easier for you to do applications. For example,
to start, we had to inspect several apps in the market, like Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, just to understand what would be the user's expectations regarding performance, and also to understand which are the main mobile patterns used for the implementations. And after the research, we implemented iOS and Android widgets that work for both with no problems. Also, due to performance problems, we decided to remove the server from the critical rendering path to ensure that the apps are really fast.
Yeah.
How fast? Well, they should be immediate. When the user clicks on something on a screen, he sees something. It can be the top bar, the bottom bar, the icons, or even the places where the data will be. We don't have to make the user wait for the data. We just have to show him something. And then, progressively, as the data is being fetched, it will be displayed on the screen.
Well, and we really wanted to have performance animations. We want our applications to work for slower devices, for faster devices, for huge screens, for smaller screens. So it was really a challenge to do really performant animations for all kind of devices. For example, we found out that we just couldn't use like the left and the right properties from CSS because it will tell the browser to just redo the whole layout of the application. We also couldn't use the transform property because the browser will just re-render the whole application. So we just chose to do wheel change property that puts everything in a different layer. We also decided to use flexbox layouts so that the containers just really adjust to the screen size. And for example, when animating a menu, we really found out that we just create screen out of the viewport area. So just when we animate the menu, we just don't want to mess with the whole application. Of course, there are much more details that we are not mentioning here, but we have a Medium, where we have all the articles that talks about the investigation that we have been doing, so you can check an article about that on Medium. And well, about the native. Well, you know, when you want to develop an application for iOS, the first thing is that you need to buy a Mac. But, well, our clients don't want to buy Macs just to build applications. So we decided to do them for them. We just put some Macs on the clouds, something like that. Like we built a native builder that basically the platform contacts with the native builder that is on the Amazon Cloud Services. Then the native builder just transforms the app and returns into the application, into the platform, so that it just works like that. You just don't need to install a bunch of things, just don't need to have a Mac, you just don't need anything. But for that, of course, our team had to spend like weeks understanding how to work with the NoSQL databases to store the request processing info, to store the generated applications. They had to learn how to process the requests, how to develop the REST API for the platform to contact to generate the application. So a lot of things. Security, just everything. And of course, we also have an article for that you can check later. So the word here is performance. We are always talking about performance. For example, when we are developing the last version of our platform, we had to just benchmark the libraries that we were using. Even the libraries, we had to just test it, because you may not notice some performance issues when you are doing a single call to a library, but if you just do a bunch of calls to the library, it may have some performance issues. For example, even with React, we had the problem on understanding when to update the elements. And we just decided to use the library that is suggested for the React team. But, you know, that didn't work for us. So we had to develop our own library that for our use case is really much faster than the library that people from React suggests. And what about offline? Well, offline is also challenging when you are building applications. So we wanted it to be as simple and transparent for our developers as possible. When you are developing an app, just want to be simple to make it offline. So we just chose to use a SQLite database in your device, then retrieve all the resources when you do the first access to your application, store it on the device, and when you have no network, you store everything in the device, you read and write everything, and then you need to find out when there's network available and sync everything to the server, and even solve all the conflicts that may appear in the meantime. So this is how it should work. You just have an application. When you are starting the application, you retrieve all the resources. Then you store everything in your local device. If you have no network, you should then access your actions, your code from your local device using the resources in your local device. And then when you have network again, then you sync everything back.
One of the things that we have mentioned before is extensibility. This is also very important because the new version of the platform was developed with this thing in mind. It was the most important thing. We wanted users to be able to use their own code in OutSystems. They're on JavaScript and they're on HTML. That's why we developed the widget, HTML widget, and the JavaScript node. Also, you can easily, like I said before, use the GitHub plugins and use the plugins from the Forge. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And to test the performance of the platform we have developed, we made some applications that most of you will know.
Yeah, and don't forget that we didn't want to be our platform to be a rock in your path. So we want you to be creative and don't spend time in anything more than building your applications. So the first thing in mind was to just put accessibility on that. The first version of this new platform version has to be extensibility. So we can now basically integrate with everything.
Yeah.
Just if you want to use a library from GitHub, you just use it. You just don't need to forget the platform and try to develop yourself using code. You just keep using the platform and integrate everything. So let's check the
Let's
apps.
see some examples. So this is Out Music. We did it with the platform, and it's a kind of like YouTube app.
Yeah.
This one I bet you don't know already.
I don't know this one.
But it's Outbook.
Yeah.
And you can also publish to Facebook and stuff like that. It's a fully working app. Instagram with all the filters.
Yeah.
And you can publish it. All of them work just right. Run Fever, you can track your performance while running, like the time you took, how many kilometers you run.
Yeah. And of course,
And Mario.
Yeah.
Of course.
So thank you for watching. Just go ahead, log into our website, create our own applications, do awesome stuff. If you need anything, any question, more details, if you want to see the generated code, just go to our Systems booth. There we are out there. And by the way, we have 2 more talks from guys from OutSystems today. One really cool from Hugo Lourenço at lunchtime, and the other one from Miguel Ventura at 5. If you just got interested in our stuff, we just put all the knowledge that we get and all the investigation results in our Medium. We have the people from R&D writing articles, in the engineering articles, and the experts from our company that just do some articles about the experience with the platform. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? Anything? Just one question? Well, thank you.
So, thanks.